La 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 la. Now this is good. Here we are. Now with my buddy Robert here. He'll introduce himself even more. And we're in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yep, in a little area called Fountain Hills.
Oh man, great area, great energy. But we're talking about the solar breatharian journey and the secrets of the mind. The secrets of the mind. And the reason why we say it's the secrets of the mind, because the knowledge always been here, but people didn't know, so it must have been a secret.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know who kept it more of a secret from us, whether it was the higher forces or if it was our own will and lack of motivation to seek out that available information.
Oh man, that's something in it. But at the same time, we'll bring it like this. Now, a lot of people, they got that documentary out called The Secret.
Yeah. Everybody's heard of The Secret. I think it's redefined the culture because it's a household term now.
Yeah.
And I think it's a touchstone for a lot of spiritual people.
Right. Or everyday people, business, successes, athletes, because it's showing you how to, and we're in an age where there's a lot of motivational speakers and everybody's after some type of materialism on that level, you know, for a better life and stuff. So everybody's kind of feeding into that. What technique did I use to create to have more? Mm-hmm. So it catches everybody.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who wants or desires is asking themselves, how do I get? And on one hand, it was kind of ridiculed as being, like you said, it was like a materialistic quest, and it was
right.
turning spirituality into this material. And on one hand, I can see that argument. On the other hand, I'm reminded of a scripture that says, Paul says, I pray that you prosper even as your soul prospers.
Right.
And there's a lot of scriptures that are used by so-called prosperity preachers, which I think they actually legitimately tell us that if you desire anything you ask of God in faith, then you'll receive it.
Well, and we gotta know too, if you're in alignment with the universe, you should have your needs met.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So it catches everybody, because all of us is like, you're living in this universe. Why some people got whatever and you can't get it. So it kind of catches everybody, because everybody wants to self-preserve different levels of their life, to raise your family, take care of yourself, and all this other stuff. But other than that, even The Secret, when it came out, it started out by saying it was in ancient times, but it was just hidden. Mm-hmm. So that kind of add up a lot of stuff, because there's a lot of things to surfacing now, but it got its roots in ancient times. So you started out by saying, was it purposely hidden by higher ups? You know, that's why we got a lot of conspiracy theories going around. Or was it us? You just didn't want to know because we were busy doing something else.
Yeah, and something you actually just said, which actually brings something else for me, is talking about if we're like you were saying, if we're in alignment with the universe, we should have our needs met.
Right.
I think part of the success or non-success that people have with regards to the use of The Secret, which I'm sure 99% of everybody who's watching is familiar with the concept of the law of attraction, ask, believe, and receive. And for me, and the application of The Secret, the crux really came down to the idea that when you ask or when you postulate for a thing, that we really remember to close out with, but not my will be done, but thy will be done. And then we drop it, because then we can be in alignment with the universe. Now it's maybe what I want for myself isn't the right thing. And
this is what I want to get at on this, because even scientifically in neuroscience and stuff, the mind is the most powerful muscle, and everybody's working with one. And what's out now is there's a lot of proof to say, do a human create their reality? In the day and the age we're in, yes. Mm-hmm. Some people just can see it more than others. Some people's in the denial of it. So when this comes out, it ain't so much as the technique. We are creating our realities. You're taking more responsibility. But I guess it's just coming out, you know, when we see things like The Secret, you've been doing it. But now it just clarifies that, you know, you put some intent behind it, some feeling, some focus. And we've been doing that, but it's been what have you been chasing? You know, because we got all these addictions going on and stuff like this. You know, life is something else. But this age we in now, since it's out there like that, And this is why we're bringing it up, because it means everything on even if it ain't on materialistic things, even on spiritual things, it's the same technique.
Mm-hmm.
You can transform yourself, but it's all a mental thing again, to bring those energies and align with them. You kind of agree on that?
Absolutely agree with
Oh man, so this is good.
Yeah.
So, but this is the key thing about it too. The secret came out that millions of people attached. A lot of people I met say, "Oh, that don't work." But there's some people I met, and you're one of them, that it worked for them. But then when I listen to the people it worked for, I see the work you put into it for it to manifest to work for you.
Exactly.
The other people it didn't work for, just like most people, if I just read a book or hear a technique, it automatically supposed to work. But if it don't, something's wrong with it. And what we're saying is whatever you focus on will grow. An athlete will tell you that, an artist, a business person out on the world. Some people who's successful, the technique is still the same. Put an energy behind it, which is focus, thought, stay with it, and you will manifest it. Our minds are so powerful. Not only we can make ourselves healthy, we can make ourselves sick. We can make ourselves successful. You can make yourself into a failure. You could be in good health, bad health. We could go on and on and on, but it still takes some effort to know the power that you have, that power of the mind.
Yeah.
That's something, ain't it?
That is something. And the other thing I think that goes with that realization is that the secret, or the law of attraction, isn't a magic trick. It's part of a way of life. It's just a word for a way that you can think through your life in a way that will bring you what you want. But if you think that you're going to, in one moment, watch The Secret and have cultivated the correct energies to, bewitch your way into whatever you want, realize that as you start to file through your thoughts, as you start to refine your thinking, realize where your negative thinking, realize where your expectations are low, those sorts of things, you see how much work needs to be done in order to bring your thinking to that vibration.
And you're affecting everybody around you. And I like how they said in that documentary, don't think about how it's supposed to come. And I think some people, they'll get into something that they got in their mind it's supposed to come this way. Mm-hmm. And that's where I see a lot of failures, because there's a lot of things I created in my life and I pulled it off because I didn't put an expectancy on how it's supposed to take place. Oh man, this is good. Mm-hmm. But when it came, you've done it. And you'll get stronger and stronger and stronger and have more trust in yourself. But just like on anything, you take baby steps first. That's what we teach the Breatharian knowledge. Mm-hmm. A lot of people think, and I know they put tape on their mouth. If you can do it, I could do it, with that type of attitude. And as soon as they do run into a barrier, a wall, they quit. Something's wrong with the program. But it's the same technique on everything you do in life.
Yes.
Oh man, and at least have small victories first.
Absolutely.
That you can complete.
That's right.
Something that's sustainable.
I mean, that's such a great example, because when I first came into the idea of Breatharianism, in my head, I had exactly like that kind of...
And most people do.
Wishful, imaginary, fantastical thinking that as soon as I learned the knowledge, I'm going to be free of food, and then, I'm just, why would I ever go back to it? I'm healed, I'm a Superman.
Right.
But it's like The Secret, you're cultivating your mind. With Breatharianism, you're cultivating your mind and your body.
Yeah.
And
to get in alignment with the unseen forces, what we call spirit. And it ain't spooky, because this is why the Breatharian knowledge, we got more educated now. You can't see an X-ray, gamma waves, radio waves, but those are the forces we're talking about. Your body is using them. That's light. Oh man, this is good. So, and like we said, the average person if we use the word prana or chi, the cultural words of India or China, most people don't even know they got chi in their body. Let alone know how to work with it and cultivate it. Mm-hmm. But then again, see, this is why we're starting this conversation. Those things were called the secret because people don't know how to use it, how far it can go, and all this other stuff, even though it wasn't a secret. It was in everybody's face. So that's why I say it was in every, truth is in plain sight.
Exactly. Yeah.
Always have been. Mm-hmm. So it goes back to you said, was it the higher ups hiding it from you? Nobody hid nothing. Or was it us? Well, you didn't know.
Didn't want to know.
So it goes hand in hand.
Right. I mean, I think, yes, exactly
Because
right.
on a unified consciousness, we are everybody. So it's a game we playing.
Yeah.
Now the secret is out, so it's no longer a secret. Well, for some.
Yeah. You're right. I mean, we were going through a period of evolution where we needed to live in darkness, live in ignorance,
Right.
so that whatever things
You
that
could
had
grow.
to happen could wake us up to eventually realizing these neglected aspects of our thoughts.
Right.
So we could turn that around.
And even for us to have this conversation now, 20, 30 years ago or more, this conversations like this wasn't being had. But it's being had more and more all over the world. That shows you humanity collectively is waking up.
Yeah, people are having it between them and their friends, and it's becoming just a way of life and talking for a lot of people.
Right.
I mean, I was just kind of, I was actually crying the other day because I was talking to my mom, and I was just describing to her how drastically we have changed as a civilization, specifically since The Secret came out.
Right.
We went from that being a bomb being dropped of wow revelation, sounds true, but it's very foreign to it becoming a touchstone in culture. You know, you see it in the TV shows, see it on Friends,
Right.
you see here, there, everybody's talking about it. And then it started to taper off a little bit because a lot of people fell away because they were going looking for immediate results.
Humanity as a whole, too, it was like back in the day, you know, the grandparents, the great-grandparents, work hard, earn your keep. So everything was physical. You know, if you want to go eat, go out there in the field to go get that potato. Right, that just makes sense. You got to survive. But this is kind of foreign because it's telling you first, go get your mind together. How's me getting my mind and changing my thought, and all I got to do is go out there in the field to go get the potato?
Exactly.
So that's why it sounds foreign.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
We're going from a physical people to becoming a more mental people.
A more mental people, which is spirit. The invisible forces.
Yeah.
And that is the force that actually drives the physical. So that's why it is new to a lot of people. But more people is coming into it, so I'm kind of proud of them. The new generation, we got the most diet changes that ever been around, talk about eat lighter and more energy and all of this. We got more different techniques of meditation is now on the scene, more different levels of fasting, whether it's dry, juice, water, all of this stuff. This wasn't here before, you know, a couple generations ago. Just in the last 20 years since I've been in the game, a lot of this information wasn't here. When I got into the game, it wasn't hardly nothing on the internet about, you know, food freedom and everything else. Now I got over 500 videos just myself. And I tell people, go learn what? The pros and the cons.
Someone's saying they can't hear. I wonder if the audio...
It said, I love you.
Oh, no. You know, there was a thing that said it can't hear.
Oh, well, that's their thing.
Okay.
Everybody else ain't crying.
Okay.
Ah.
All right.
So what we're saying is we're in a whole new age that we came a long way. And even how I'm teaching now is different than how I taught 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Because people who's on these different quests, no matter if it's, how should we say it? Because it's all mental. Whether if you're in a spiritual game, businessman, athlete, all of that has uplifted from how it used to be. Am I telling the truth?
You're telling the truth. I mean, you go to like Silicon Valley, the heart of materialistic technologies, and they're taking their kids to, you know, specialized schooling, and there they are, you know, testing psychedelics and spiritual avenues, and there they're looking into, you know, whether it's through virtual reality or augmented reality, they're diving into consciousness, and it's like being spiritualized.
And even on a scientific level, all of them is in the consciousness now. Some saying it's fundamental, some know it plays a big part. Neuroscientists are saying, yes, the mind does affect the body. It might. It does. And this is all we're talking, so all of humanity moved into another level of thinking. And that's all it is. You're the same, you got the same Paleolithic body as your ancestors, but we're thinking differently. That's evolution. And if the mind changes, the body's going to follow. We got some people out there now looking good in their 70s, 80s, you know, working out and doing all this other stuff today. It's different than it was back in the past. They out there, and it ain't gonna stop. We're gonna have more people being Centurions all over the place that's living over 100. That's happening on the planet right now. And even on scientific groups that's working on physical immortality, that's why we're not talking stupid. There's educated people working on it, smart people. And this is what they're saying. The person that's going to see immortality is living right now. They're born right now. This is good, ain't it?
Yeah,
we're not playing. So some people, like we say, truth don't need to be debated. And knowledge ain't nothing to debate about, especially when you know you're in the work and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. So sometimes you don't have to let your energies go with people, like you got to make them believe. The knowledge is here. You just got to go do your own work. Go use your mind.
Go use your mind. I would just give a little tidbit from when I found The Secret in 2007, which was a year after it was actually released.
Right.
And I put it on and I started watching it 5 times a day, every single day, and I would watch it. I've seen it well over 100 times now. I've watched it with
100 times. Listen at this.
And I was
so it could get reprogrammed.
Literally, if I could see the number in front of me, I would not be surprised.
Right.
Because I just wanted to memorize it. I said to myself, I want to brainwash myself.
Listen at this.
You see, my parents had brainwashed me, my culture, my friends, society, the TV, the school. I want to brainwash myself with what I want. So I want to clean my mind and put fresh content that I choose.
This is it. That's the secret. So that's why you and the people I know who pulled it off brainwashed themselves with it. It's like that with everything. I'm a breatharian because I brainwashed myself with the knowledge. What is brainwashing? You took your brain out and washed it. Put it back. And you said the key words because before other people brainwashed you or programmed you. That's all we're doing. And if your mind pick up that new program, it's going to manifest. And I like how they said in The Secret, they brought up the genie, the genie lamp. We all heard of that story. You get 3 wishes. But the thing about this, you got more than 3 wishes.
Yep.
That's the original story.
Yep.
You're always creating, even in your sleep. So you got to whether you go food free or not, just to have a better life, you better do something with your mind.
Absolutely correct. I think a lot of people also are waiting for their outside circumstances to be to accommodate the lifestyle that they want to add. And if you're waiting for the bills to be paid for you to be able to, now I can relax, now I can go into this path. Well, that's fine, but you need to get on a real solution that's going to make you feel good. And
because look at the celebrity world now. Celebrity, and I know a lot of people, that got money and stuff, having problems because the materialism didn't solve other things just by you being a living being.
Exactly.
That's something, ain't it?
Yeah.
So nobody gets away.
Nobody gets away. and even people who, without knowing the secret, earn all that money and become wealthy, they could lose it and not know how to get it back.
This is what we're talking about.
They lose
happens all the time.
They spiral emotionally and they're like, I can't get it back. And guess what? They're right now. They're correct now. They can't get it back with that attitude. But they don't know it was their attitude that got it in the first place.
Absolutely. Oh, this is something, ain't it? So that mental mind, this isn't new. That's why I'm glad they said it's the secret, because it was hidden. Because we got things from our history. And history is just a collection of things that took place in the past. And one of them is that we can't hide the Hermetic text or the dealing with Toff's laws, dealing with, number 1, dealing with the 7 principles. Everything is mental. Everything is mind. And we just made full circle because now the scientific community has said consciousness is fundamental.
Yeah,
it's the mind.
And that's the wonderful
man
part
equals
about
mind.
Anything you can imagine, you can reach out and have an impact on.
Right, we're creating.
And the only thing that limits people is their capacity to believe.
Absolutely, because you're not going to be an angry, miserable person living in peace. That's something, ain't it?
Yeah.
We got to start seeing it.
Right.
And if you're like that, you can correct it. You can correct it.
Yes.
For some, depending on what you're dealing with, it takes more work than others. But if you put in the work, and I like how you said, you brainwashed yourself with what you wanted to put in there.
Yeah.
So it can manifest. And it did.
Exactly. And that's the thing about The Secret is it is like a mind program, and that all the different aspects of thought that usually will trip you up are discussed in that film.
Right.
So, your expectations like this, if your mood is like this, if your
It's affecting everything.
if your lifestyle's like this, these are all aspects that are like leading up to success or failure.
And there's other great writings. Another one is what? Think and Grow Rich. They're saying the same thing. You understand? And I like how they ended it at the end. Of course, they was going, Think and Grow Rich. They gave it that title, because most people are seeking, the materialistic aspect. But he said that could go with anything you're doing with your life, even the spiritual. It's the same concept.
Yeah.
Whatever your mind think, whatever you focus on, it will grow.
That's funny. Was I talking about Think and Grow Rich today?
No.
I was talking with Allison about it, and I was talking about the last chapter called Sexual Transmutation.
Yeah.
Just today.
Just
in
today.
the car. So we just law of attracted it. And so, that's kind of like when you talk about synchronicities, I kind of banish the idea of coincidence out of my vocabulary.
Exactly.
Because it kind of insinuates that
There is
these
no
are
coincidence.
incidental, non-meaning. There's a synchronicity that's, things are being brought together. And the more you look at synchronicity when it happens and celebrate it, and pay attention, take note, the more it happens. The more you notice, it's like constantly, all the time. And if you never pay attention to it, you wouldn't even realize you're living in it.
Absolutely. And that just shows you, it's sort of like you're looking at yourself as a magnet. When you're putting that frequency out there from the body, you're actually drawing things to you. That's something, ain't it? And this is real. See, this is what we're talking about. So there was a time in spirituality we used to say a person had an aura. We use that word aura. But just being an everyday person, if you wasn't into that lingo, you don't know if they're telling the truth or not. You know what I mean? Can you see auras? I don't know. They just say that aura stuff. But today, we use the word electromagnetic field. All physical matter gives off electromagnetic field. And I'll put it to the test. Everybody that I say that to, shake their head and say, that shows you humanity grow. We all know we got energy coming off us. So when we talk about the secret in the mind and all of that, that electromagnetism. Not only we're transmitting energy constantly, we're also drawing stuff to us.
Great, because we're magnets in that sense.
And all we're doing is tweaking a little bit more if you want to pull off bigger things in your life. Not just that mediocre stuff, some bigger things to really transform yourself.
Some bigger things. I just want to throw a few ideas out there, because when I started this in 2007, my life has changed very, very, very dramatically from where it was. And at the beginning, all I had to work with was my thoughts.
Right. Oh man, listen at that. All he had to work with was his thoughts. That's powerful.
You don't need two pennies to rub together.
Right.
In some cases, some people are, like in The Secret, the one man's paralyzed.
Right.
And all he had was that I can think in a certain way. And so once you got that, you see everybody's on an even playing field.
Yeah.
And there's no excuses for, your positioning or whether you're going to...
Everybody's on an equal playing field. Go ahead. I'm excited.
So it really comes down to is knowledge is power.
Yeah.
You know this stuff. If you teach it to yourself, if you take the time to learn it and to think about it, to test it, and in every moment, weigh your thoughts against these laws that you know.
Right.
And you just keep refining, you're going to see constant little bits of evidence that you're on a miracle path.
Oh, listen at this stuff. And I see the thing dealing with, it was on one of those channels, video talking about humanity's past. And they're saying, we don't got claws to fight. We don't got the long teeth. Humanity, the only thing, his greatest weapon is his mind. That's powerful. And that was true back then. It is true still today.
Yeah.
You got your mind. If you got your mind, you can make changes.
Exactly. I think maybe before I would have learned The Secret, a lot of these ideas would have either gone over my head or through my head, one or not the other.
Right.
Because there's a lot of seeming abstraction involved, and people don't realize how literally true it is that if you take up the cultivation of your thoughts...
That's that word, cultivation.
If you consider... well, let me give a little example. If biblically, some people might remember right before the flood, God looked upon the earth and saw that the thoughts of man were only evil continuously, and he regretted for having made them. And in my self-realization, when I started to really watch my thoughts, I realized that they were only evil continuously.
Right.
I was only ever desiring something, lusting or craving after something, seeking after something, being discontent.
Right.
And that realization, in conjunction with the truths of the secret, which showed me how that I ought to think,
Right.
led to a revolution in my life.
That's something, ain't it? That's powerful. You had a chance to finally look at your thoughts instead of just letting it run on autopilot like you ain't responsible for it.
Yeah.
That's something.
That's something. And that is
That's
a big
powerful.
Because anyone who has not, I mean, I think most spiritual people who are on that path are, have gone into the depths and are psychologically analyzing themselves.
Yeah.
Which is really what the spiritual journey is.
That's what it's all about. Everything is mental. Where else you gonna go if you don't take care of that? Mm-hmm. I was working with my group today online, and they on the Breatharian journey, and everybody had the same thing. To now, when they do eat something, they can really feel it than before because they became conscious, and they could see the difference. And one guy said, "Man, I can't believe I was doing this to myself, like that constantly, and didn't realize it." So that means he's looking at his thoughts.
Exactly.
That's powerful, and that's where the change comes.
That is where the change comes. And being willing to confront the fact that maybe the thoughts that you think are highly justifiable may not be justifiable at all in the
Right.
scheme of, I need to have the things that I want because, I owe it, or because I deserve to it, or whatever. Maybe I owe it to somebody else and I have to, and you have all these reasons. But the reason alone it should just be like you were talking about. Mm-hmm. You just want it. So maybe you just want it. You don't really have to have the reason. But the way you think about the things is going to determine whether you get what you want.
Absolutely. And this conversation we have, like I said, is happening more and more. And I remember this one celebrity, they said something real good when they understood that they had control over their energy. Not other people's, but theirs. They was responsible for theirs. And if people was irresponsible for their energy, that was on them. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is good, ain't it?
Yeah.
But at least they took responsibility of theirs, and that's what we want.
Exactly. For example, I can say when I got into this subject, I was living at home. My family wasn't particularly religious, and these ideas are foreign to most people until they've heard it for the first time. And the idea that you can think your way into a better life just seems very like wishful thinking.
You're God.
Like,
I should have said that. Oops. That's too fast. That'll scare some people.
Yeah,
but it's powerful.
Exactly. And even in my own home, I experienced, amongst my friends and my family, anybody I'd bring the subject up to, really to anybody who was not knowledgeable and cynical or skeptical of it, you suffer a little. I don't want to go to the extreme of calling it persecution, but you are going to be marginalized. Your sanity is going to be questioned. How seriously you can be taken is definitely going to be brought up for reconsideration.
Right.
And those are things that, while you are educating yourself, you may have nobody who believes around you.
Exactly.
But if you believe, you will pull yourself out of that circumstance. They will stay there. But you can't wait for other people to approve of what you're doing, to tell you you're doing a good job, to tell you that's right. You just got to do it. And guess what? You can't fake the results either.
You can't even fake the results. Listen at that. This is something, ain't it? Because we're under some universal laws. Mm-hmm. We're activating the laws of physics. This is the way it's going to be laid out. Can't even fake it.
Yep.
You're either going to manifest it or not.
Right. And you can't pretend like you've done all the things you're supposed to do. If things aren't manifesting, there's something you're not doing right.
Exactly.
And you can't skip your way to that. You have to do the hard work.
Mm-hmm. And you don't beat up on yourself. You're a scientist. You're like going back to the experiment.
Yeah.
Let me tweak this. Let's see how this goes. But like we said, the universe is user-friendly. See, not only, this is what I said today, your body is already under the laws of nature. And when you start working with the laws of nature, when we're talking about aligning it, then the law is going to reveal the truth on what you need to do next. It's going to give it to you.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Yeah. So I mean, that's a wonderful message about this whole thing is your future, if you really want whatever you want, is in your hands. You do have the capacity to manifest way outside the box.
All power is in my hands. I got a song that says that. All power is in my hands. This is what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. But like we said, this is a holistic lifestyle. And we ain't even said, when we talked the solitary and breatharian message, it is for everybody. That don't mean you got to stop eating. But it is for everybody because it's telling you mind, body, spirit connection. That's how you should be living. That's natural.
Yeah. And, right along those lines, like, I don't think there's any attempt to be dogmatic. And by dogmatic, I mean when people try to give you an idea or an interpretation with little or no proof or an expectation that you should just eat it and agree with it and go with it before you believe it. There's nothing dogmatic about, presenting these ideas and then you choosing that path. If you think that somebody has to tell you what to do or can tell you what to do, then you've already given away your control. So it has to be because you want to.
Absolutely.
Because you did do it.
Because it's self-realization. Nobody ain't going to realize it for you.
Yeah. You
got to realize it. And self-realization don't just mean belief. Here we go now. Because you start working on your... See, it's the beliefs that's blocking you. Did we say that? There is a thing called poverty mentality.
Poverty mentality. Your mom or dad tells you that getting money is difficult, that there's the haves and the have-nots.
Oh, absolutely.
So-and-so's blessed, must be nice to be so-and-so.
Right. If you don't eat, you die. You need to eat this. If you eat that, we don't want to talk to you no more. That's how they treat diet changes now. Mm-hmm. You just did something bad. Mm-hmm.
And I really believe that a lot of people who are saying that kind of thing really mean well because they think they're helping to disillusion their, illusioned friend. But the fact of the matter is, once you get a hold of the idea that you need to start your own independent thinking, that you need to answer only to yourself. In fact, if you're answering to anybody other than yourself, your decisions aren't going to hold water very long.
You're the author of your life.
You're the author of your life.
You're creating your book. You're writing your story. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. So even if somebody walked up to you and gave you the total, full truth of life, you're still going to pick and choose on what you think it is.
And it's not going to do you any good until it's been absorbed, integrated, cultivated, and actuated in your own life.
Absolutely.
By your own choice.
And this is what makes it good because we're all growing at many different levels and degrees, as we say. Just keep on growing. And you could grow into something so big if you only knew how much power is in you. Oh man, this is good, ain't it? Mm-hmm. This is what we talk about. You're taking part of your evolution. And don't let nobody talk you out of it when you know you can change yourself. Woo!
And you know what is so powerful about what you're saying and what you're connecting with people on this direct level is we're talking to people who may be sitting at their computer by themselves right now, who are having alone time and they're contemplating their own life independently. Mm-hmm. And as soon as they step away from what they're watching right now, they're going to be bombarded with the same old thoughts coming from the people around them.
Here we go.
But you right now in this moment are in the midst of sowing seeds that if you water them, they'll grow seemingly out of nowhere for the people that you live around.
Right.
But you have to watch over your thoughts. You have to cultivate the ideas no matter what kind of storm people around you want to uproot you with.
This is what it is. Until you keep on growing and get stronger. And believe me, you stick with it. People won't be watching you. That's how you change people. They're going to be glad you made it. Mm-hmm.
And they might not they might act that way. They might act jealous and resentful.
Yeah.
But in reality, they're inspired.
They're inspired. Yeah. That's how you change yourself, you change the world. Make it through the storm. Mm-hmm. You'd be surprised how many people you helping. Mm-hmm. Oh man, this is good. You ain't got to preach it to nobody. You ain't got to talk to people. Like we said, truth don't need a debate.
And preaching it to people as pro tip doesn't work anyway.
It don't work no way. Everybody gonna go the other way, right?
Not unless they're already receptive, in which case you're preaching to the choir. Anyway.
The best teacher is the one that's actually doing it. This is something, ain't it? Stay in the game.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Keep cultivating yourself, just like you plant in the garden. That's why they use those terminologies in spirituality. Cultivation is a a farming word. You know, a person is working on a garden. You're taking care of that baby plant, which is your soul, so it can grow and get stronger. And it'll get so strong one day that those little things that used to bother you won't bother you no more, and you be off into something else. Oh, this is good, ain't it?
Yeah.
So once again, the secrets of the mind. This is what we're talking about, but it's no longer a secret. And like we said, the truth is already in you, so the more you be truthful for yourself, the more the truth get revealed. Mm-hmm. Did we say this?
Yeah.
Because you bound in truth. Everybody is. Oh, did I say this?
I heard one of the definitions of wisdom is the application of knowledge begets wisdom.
Here we go.
So somebody can give you ideas or wisdom, but it's not until you do it that you see the wisdom in what is being explained. Then you can articulate it front, back, left, and right, inside and out.
Oh, here we go.
Because you got the concept.
Here we go. And this is what should humble you too. Like we say, everybody's at different levels of degrees. And I always say this to people. 10 years ago, you thought differently than you do now. Think about it. So 10 years from now, you're going to be thinking differently. Even if you think you're on top of your game. This is good, ain't it? Mm-hmm. So that shows you the knowledge you got now, whatever you're doing, don't put a roof on it. You know it's going to be tweaked and changed just through life experiences. It don't end. Because you're constantly in that. One truth that we could say that everybody deals with is change. Mm-hmm. Change is going to take place. So this is what the Breatharian knowledge is talking about. You're taking part in your evolution, which means change.
And all things are subject to change.
And all things are subject to change.
Yeah.
So you're riding with the wave, just like riding a surfboard.
Get your sea legs.
And keep on developing. And it's going to be great when you take part of your evolution instead of just letting it go on its own on autopilot. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Don't tap out. No, don't do that.
Absolutely. You keep on digging into the knowledge. You keep on, whether you're getting up in the middle of the night, your mind needs to be full of self-edification.
Here we go.
We have to take the journey very seriously.
Right.
Because some people take up this knowledge and really at first you can't help but falter in terms of, oh, I'm back to thinking about this whole thing and that. And you keep realizing you're doing that. And it pumps up the awareness that, wow, I don't have control over myself. And you know, they say be easy and
right.
on other people, but be strict with yourself.
Here we go.
And if you're strict with yourself, then you will definitely see results. If you're lax with yourself, you're going to get lax to maybe...
In other words, discipline is the vehicle for elevation. This is good, ain't it? Mm-hmm. And it might not seem like a discipline could be developed. So don't be worried about saying, well, I'm not a really disciplined person like so-and-so. Don't worry about so-and-so. You start where you at and go from there. This is good, ain't it? And just keep developing it. And it will get stronger till it become no longer a practice. It will become your identity. That's just something you automatically do. Mm-hmm. This is good, ain't it?
Yep.
Oh, man. So once again, as we ready to part, this is the secrets of the mind, but it's no longer a secret. The more you keep working with the truth that's in you, the truth will be revealed because you are the book. This is powerful, ain't it? All these holy books on the planet, those are just gateways to lead you to yourself. See, when you get information is when you're learning something about somebody else that's from you. Knowledge is when you're learning about yourself. Oh, did we say that? Mm-hmm. Peace and blessings. Keep on transforming. Love you.